What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review, and this time we're taking a look at the 8th installment into the DCEU / Synderverse with Harley Quinn, with Birds of Prey, and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. This movie should have been called Harley Quinn the Movie because the Birds of Prey are completely irrelevant. Okay, I'm not wasting no time. Let's just speed right along. Overall, Birds of Prey is not a movie that I like, and it's not a movie that I hate. It's very in the middle, very in between. It has some good things and it has some shit things. Let's go over the good first. Most of the cast in this movie is fine. Margot Robbie reprises her role as Harley Quinn, and she's good in the role. There are moments where she can come across as absolutely cringy, and there are also moments where she comes across as actually pretty good. It's a mixed bag. I mean, this movie shows that Harley Quinn is not a good lead character. She's always good when she's in a supporting role. When you put Harley Quinn as the lead, that's where the flaws of her character really start to appear, because she's not a good lead. Harley Quinn is not a good lead character. Where do you go? Nothing about Harley Quinn radiates, lead character, especially in a movie that's focused on her, because Harley's entire story is tied to the Joker. And when you don't have the Joker with Harley Quinn, it feels incomplete. And that's what this movie is, very incomplete. And Margot Robbie's performance as Harley Quinn is a perfect example of that. You basically just have Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn with no real sense of direction. She's doing fourth wall jokes that are really not that funny, and her performance, while very energetic and very zany, can be very grating at times. Like, Margot Robbie is really a mixed bag as Harley Quinn when she's the focal point. In Suicide Squad, she was a supporting player, and she was good. In this, she's the main, and I wish that any other character was the main, aside from Harley Quinn. Yeah, Margot Robbie. Overall, I like her as Harley Quinn, but when she's the lead, that's where the cracks and the flaws really start to show. The supporting cast around her is good, but really underutilized. Rosie Perez plays Renee Montoya, a cop in GCPD. I like Rosie Perez. I like her as Ray Montoya. I think the storyline they gave Montoya was just a typical, down with the patriarchy bullshit, which I don't like. And not only that, where the fuck is Jim Gordon? Like, where's Jim Gordon in the Gotham City PD? We have Captain Erickson, played by the great Stephen Williams, but where the hell's Jim Gordon? Because I do not think Jim Gordon would allow the things happening to Montoya happen, because Jim Gordon always valued Montoya. Montoya was one of Gordon's trusted cops. Where the fuck is Gordon to help out Montoya? He's nowhere to be found. I don't get it. I mean, like I said, Rosie Perez, she's fine in the role, but she's not really in the movie that much. Her whole subplot is that she's looking for a diamond that Black Mask has, and that's pretty much it. And then all of a sudden, she just gets thrust into the third act after just having her scenes sprinkled all throughout. Okay. Janae Smollett plays Black Canary, Diana Lance. I did not really care for Smollett in the role. I thought she was kind of bland, kind of boring. She wasn't a highlight at all. The only cool scene she has is when she does the canary scream. Other than that, her personality to me does not feel like she's Diana Lance. Hell, you could have named her freaking Carol Merkel and it would have been the same character. That's how just un-canary this character really was. And her having an association with Roma Sionis, you didn't really do anything with that. And not only that, no references to Green Arrow, no references to Oliver Queen. Canary is closely associated with Arrow. In a lot of instances, that's his wife. Where the fuck is a mention? There's nothing here. It's like Canary in this movie ceased to exist. Like I said, if she didn't do the canary scream, you would never think that this was Black Canary. You would think she was just some woman. She was just some random woman who's just following around who was just chasing Harley Quinn for the hell of it. And like I said, Smollett, her performance is also mixed. Some scenes she's all right. Other scenes I just forget that she's there. She does not leave an impression on me whatsoever. Now, an actress that did leave an impression on me, of course, was Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress. Now, of course, the more interesting character in this movie is the one who is completely shafted. Helena Bertinelli's entire story is pretty much her origin story, where she's the daughter of a crime boss. She sees her crime boss family get slaughtered. Then she goes on to train to be a killing machine to get revenge. Huntress was the most interesting character in this entire movie. And of course, the more interesting character out of the entire movie is the one who's least utilized. For the screen time that Mary Elizabeth Winstead had, I like her. And I'm actually very open to seeing a more Huntress-centric, movie or TV show. Especially if you bring back Winstead, then I'm all in, because I liked her in this movie. Completely underutilized, but I liked her in this movie. She has some of the better scenes, and I like the whole thing of her doing a little taxi parody, and I like the whole thing of her getting irritated when she can't tell people who she is, or if they call the crossbow killer. I like it. I like Winstead in the role. I mean, I would have made Huntress more serious than what she really was, but I like the awkwardness of her sometimes, where she's trying to show camaraderie, and she's a little taken aback by how to express it. I enjoyed it. I like it. Aaron McGregor plays Roman Sionis Black Mask. In some instances, McGregor is challenging Black Mask's comic book counterpart. In other instances, he's playing a totally different role. But as a whole package, McGregor is clearly having a lot of fun playing Black Mask, and I like the overall look of Black Mask. I like that this movie shows the more sadistic side of Black Mask. I don't care for the underlying pseudo-romance that he has with Victor Zsasz, which is completely weird. But I like Black Mask as a whole. I like his whole story about how he does not like Harley Quinn, and how he's constantly after her because of this diamond that belongs to him. So yeah, McGregor as Black Mask was really good. What this version of Black Mask needed was an actual writer who knows lore and kind of tone down the flamboyant, flashy side of Sionis and do the more charismatic, sadistic businessman that he really is. But for what we got, McGregor was fine. Chris Messina, he plays Victor Zsasz. Every single live-action version of Victor Zsasz does the most boring version of Victor Zsasz, in which he's portrayed as somebody connected to the mob. Victor Zsasz, when you read on his original origin, he's actually very interesting, very complex. And Victor Zsasz is a somebody who had it all and then lost it all, and then he tried to commit suicide, and then in self-defense he killed a homeless man who was trying to kill him. However, in killing this homeless man, he came to the realization that life to him was meaningless, and he made it his mission to be a liberator. In Victor's warped mind, him killing people is him liberating them from life and from a meaningless life into something more. That's actually pretty fucked up. But this version of Victor Zsasz is like any other version of Victor Zsasz in media. He's just portrayed as a mob hitman who is fucking boring. I'm sorry, he's fucking boring. Victor Zsasz is one of the more interesting Batman villains, and he's fucking boring. I hope Matt Reeves can adapt Victor Zsasz into his universe and actually go more closer to his comic books counterpart and take away the fucking shackles of him being a mob enforcer, because I hate that aspect of Victor Zsasz. It makes him the least interesting person, and tying him into Huntress is just even more uninteresting to me. Can I get a real representation of Victor Zsasz, please? And the rest of the supporting cast is all right. Like I said, Stephen Williams in this movie as a captain of GCPD. He just comes across as a dick who undermines Montoya and takes all the credit for himself, which is lame. And then you have all the other characters who are just there. They don't really do anything, to be honest with you. In terms of the direction and production values, I thought Kathy Yen did a decent job. Like, this movie does have a good visual style to it. I like the visual aesthetics. It's very bright, very colorful. So I like all that. Majority of the action sequences were actually done by Chad Stahelski, and you can tell that they were done by Chad Stahelski because the ones that are done by him are actually pretty cool, and the ones that are not done by him are just kind of lame. Like, you can tell which are the good action sequences and which are the lousy action sequences. But then again, this movie is not really meant to be an action-heavy movie. It's meant to be a comedic movie. And in terms of the comedy, I really didn't find it all that funny. It was kind of forced and kind of cringe at moments. It tries to act like Deadpool, but it doesn't understand Deadpool. Christina Hodson, the writer of this movie, her go-to joke is putting down every single man character, making them either an asshole or irrelevant. I find it really strange how Cassandra Cain has no idea who the Joker is, yet she lives in Gotham City and knows who Harley Quinn is. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Not only that, Cassandra Cain is in this movie. Not once did this thing even reference the fact that she's the offspring of Lady Shiva and David Cain, a member of the League of Assassins and a hired assassin and a hired hitman. Her origin, she's Cassandra Cain. You could have swapped out Cassandra Cain for any no-name character, and it would have been the exact same thing. Not only that, I thought the actress who played Cassandra Cain, she just didn't come across as anything to me. I thought she was kind of boring. Her acting could be flat, and didn't really have a whole lot of chemistry with Margot Robbie in a lot of scenes. The movie thinks that they have chemistry, but they really don't. But yeah, like a lot of the cast in this movie is really, really mixed, and a lot of the representation is, a lot of the writing for them is also really mixed, and the whole motivation of them is because men put them down is stupid. Now, the whole idea of a man putting Harley down, that works because the Joker and Harley have a very abusive relationship, hence why Joker should have been the villain of this movie. The whole idea of this movie is Harley breaking away from the Joker and wanting to be on her own. This would have been perfect because Joker is a very possessive person, especially when it comes to Harley Quinn. Even though their relationship is extremely abusive, Joker is also really jealous when Harley's not with him. You know, that could have made for a very interesting movie. You know, a Harley Quinn versus the Joker. This movie should have been Harley Quinn versus the Joker. Instead of, and the Birds of Prey should have really been non-existent because they don't serve any purpose until the third act. And that's pretty much it. And then all of a sudden they're acting like they've been best friends for years. And it comes across as just really just lame. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, and there's also this running gag of Harley wanting a breakfast sandwich. And the movie tries to play it out as being funny. And it's just not funny. It's just kind of stupid and cringe. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like I said, this movie is a mixed bag. It's all right. It's whatever. Oh yeah. Like I said, this movie should have been, if this movie was going to focus on Harley Quinn, then you should have just erased the Birds of Prey, have them not even be in this movie because they're completely irrelevant, and they should have just focused on the rivalry between Harley and Joker. You would have had a much better movie if it was like that. Instead, you get this, Deadpool ripoff that thinks it's being clever and creative when it's really not. It's just a movie that exists as a star vehicle for Margot Robbie and nothing more. So yeah, with all that being said, I'm giving Birds of Prey a solid 5 out of 10. It's very middle of the road. It doesn't break no barriers down, but it's just whatever. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for Birds of Prey. Let me know your thoughts in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.